In the heart of America's fractured streets, where justice was a badge but hides a fist, a young black woman named Aaliyah Thompson is savagely beaten by cops for daring to question their authority, only to reveal her father is the FBI director, unleashing a storm of reckoning that exposes corruption from the precinct to the Pentagon. If this tale of raw power, racial injustice, and explosive twist grips you like a vice, hit that subscribe button now. Join thousands in the USA and UK demanding stories that shatter silence and spark change, because your voice amplifies the truth we all need to hear. Aaliyah Thompson stepped out of her sleek black Mercedes on that sweltering August evening in downtown Atlanta, the kind of heat that clings to your skin like a bad memory, her high heels clicking against the cracked sidewalk as she hurried toward the corner store for a late-night bottle of water. She was 24, fresh out of law school at Howard University, with dreams of becoming a civil rights attorney that burned brighter than the neon signs flickering above her. Her curly hair was tied back in a ponytail, her outfit casual yet polished, a white blouse and jeans that hugged her athletic frame from years of track and field. But tonight, those dreams would collide with the harsh reality of a city where the color of your skin could turn a routine stop into a nightmare. As she crossed the street, blue lights flashed behind her, piercing the dusk like accusatory eyes. Two patrol cars screeched to a halt and outpoured for officers, their badges gleaming under the street lamps, faces hardened by years on the beat. "Ma'am, stop right there," barked Officer Harlan Reed, a burly white man in his 40s with a mustache that looked like it belonged in a 1980s cop drama. Aaliyah froze, her heart pounding, but she kept her composure. "What's the problem, officer?" she asked calmly, her voice steady from mock trials and debates. They claimed her car matched the description of a stolen vehicle, black Mercedes, tinted windows, but Aaliyah knew better. It was hers, bought with her own savings from internships. She reached slowly for her phone to pull up the registration, but that's when things escalated. "Hands where I can see them," shouted Officer Maria Gonzalez, the only woman in group, her tone laced with unnecessary aggression. Aaliyah complied, but as she explained, "I'm just getting my documents." Reed lunged forward, grabbing her wrist with a vice-like grip. "Resisting arrest!" he yelled, twisting her arm behind her back. Pain shot through her shoulder, but she didn't scream. Not yet. The other two officers, Jenkins and Patel, piled on, slamming her against the hood of her car. Fists flew. Reed's boot connected with her ribs. Gonzalez's baton cracked against her thigh. Jenkins' punches landed on her back, and Patel held her down, his knee pressing into her spine. "Stop resisting," they chorused, the age-old excuse echoing in the night as blood trickled from her split lip. Passers-by filmed on their phones, murmurs of outrage rippling through the growing crowd, but no one intervened. Aaliyah's mind raced. She wasn't resisting, she was surviving. As the blows rained down, her thoughts flashed to her childhood in D.C., raised by a single father who taught her to stand tall, to fight back with words, not fists. But words failed her now, drowned out by the grunts and thuds. Finally, they cuffed her, dragging her toward the patrol car, her blouse torn, bruises blooming like dark flowers on her brown skin. At the precinct, they threw her into a holding cell, ignoring her pleas for medical attention. "You'll be fine, girl," sneered Reed, slamming the door. Hours passed in agony, her body throbbing, but her spirit unbroken. When they finally allowed her one phone call, Aaliyah's fingers trembled as she dialed a number she knew by heart. "Dad," she whispered when he answered, her voice cracking. "They beat me. Cops in Atlanta. I'm at the 5th Precinct." There was a pause on the line, then a voice like thunder. "I'm on my way." Little did those officers know, Aaliyah's father wasn't just any man. He was Director Marcus Thompson, head of the FBI, a black powerhouse who'd risen through the ranks amid whispers of affirmative action and ironclad competence, overseeing the nation's top law enforcement agency from his office in the J. Edgar Hoover building. Marcus hung up, his face a mask of controlled fury, and immediately mobilized. He called his deputy, barking orders, "Get a team to Atlanta now. My daughter's been assaulted by local PD." Within minutes, FBI agents were en route, and Marcus boarded a private jet, his mind swirling with memories of his own brushes with racism and the force, vowing this would end differently. Back at the precinct, the officers laughed it off in the break room. Reed boasting about teaching that uppity one a lesson. But as dawn broke, the mood shifted. Black SUVs pulled up outside, federal agents storming in with warrants and badges. FBI, hands up. The precinct captain blanched as agents cuffed Reed, Gonzalez, Jenkins, and Patel on charges of excessive force and civil rights violations. Aaliyah was released into her father's arms, medics tending to her wounds as Marcus held her tight, whispering apologies for a world he couldn't fully protect her from. News spread like wildfire. Headlines screaming, FBI director's daughter beaten by cops, igniting protests across the nation. But this was just the beginning. Twists lurked in the shadows. As investigations deepened, FBI forensics uncovered body cam footage the officers had tried to delete, showing the unprovoked assault in stark detail. Yet, deeper digging revealed a conspiracy. Reed wasn't just a rogue cop. He was part of a white supremacist ring within the department, linked to online forums plotting against minority communities. Gonzalez, it turned out, had a personal grudge. Her brother had been prosecuted by Aaliyah's firm during an internship. Jenkins and Patel paid informants for a corrupt mayor covering up embezzlement, using street stops to intimidate witnesses. Marcus, leveraging his position, ordered a full audit, exposing a web of corruption that reached the governor's office. Aaliyah, bandaged but fierce, testified before Congress, her story galvanizing reforms. But the biggest twist came when an anonymous tip led to evidence that Marcus himself had buried a similar incident years ago to protect his career, a cover-up involving a black suspect's death in custody. Torn between loyalty and justice, Aaliyah confronted her father. "How could you?" Marcus confessed, tears in his eyes, explaining the pressures of being the first black director, the compromises made to shatter glass ceilings. In a heart-wrenching decision, Aaliyah turned him in, leading to his resignation and a national reckoning on systemic hypocrisy. Yet, from the ashes, Aaliyah rose as an advocate, founding an organization to train officers in de-escalation, her scars a badge of resilience. The officers faced prison, the ring dismantled, but the story didn't end there. Another layer unfolded as Aaliyah discovered her beating was no random stop. It was targeted. A leaked email showed the mayor, fearing her father's probe into his finances, had ordered the hit, framing it as a routine pullover. With FBI resources now under a new director, Aaliyah led a sting operation, posing as a whistleblower to lure the mayor into a confession. In a tense hotel room meet, wired for sound, the mayor spilled. That girl's old man was getting too close. Had to send a message. Agents burst in, arrests made, the scandal toppling the administration. But twists kept coming. During trial, Reed flipped, revealing international ties, a cartel funding the supremacist group for drug routes through Atlanta. Aaliyah, now thrust into danger, received threats, forcing her into protection. Hiding in a safe house, she uncovered her mother's death. Long thought an accident, was tied to Marcus's early cases, a hit by the same cartel. Grief-stricken, she vowed vengeance, using her legal acumen to build an airtight case. The climax came in a federal courtroom, Aaliyah prosecuting as special counsel, facing down the defendants. Cross-examinations peeled back layers. Reed broke down, admitting brainwashing. Gonzalez claimed coercion. The mayor sang like canary. Marcus, testifying as a witness, redeemed himself by exposing classified files on the cartel's infiltration of U.S. law enforcement. In a shocking reveal, the cartel boss turned out to be a former FBI agent, Marcus's old partner, betrayed and turned rogue. Aaliyah's closing argument thundered, "This isn't just about me. It's about every black life dismissed, every badge tarnished." The jury convicted, sentences handed down like hammers of justice. Epilogue. Aaliyah became FBI director herself, the youngest ever, implementing reforms that save lives. But in quiet moments, she wondered if the cycle would ever break. Her father's legacy a double-edged sword. The end? Not quite. Years later, a new threat emerged, a copycat group, pulling Aaliyah back into the fray, proving justice is an ongoing battle. As the sun dipped below the Atlanta skyline that fateful evening, casting long shadows over the bustling streets. Aaliyah Thompson had no inkling that her simple errand would ignite a firestorm capable of reshaping the corridors of power. She was the epitome of ambition wrapped in grace, a young woman whose intellect shone as brightly as her smile, honed by rigorous debates in ivy-covered halls and late-night study sessions fueled by determination. Her father, Marcus, had always been her rock, a towering figure in the world of federal law enforcement, but he kept his high-stakes life compartmentalized, shielding her from the ugliness that often accompanied his badge. That night, as the officer's aggression escalated from verbal commands to physical domination, Aaliyah's world fractured. The first blow landed like a thunderclap, Reed's fist connecting with her jaw, sending stars exploding behind her eyes. She gasped, tasting copper, but instinct kicked in. She curled protectively, whispering, "I'm not resisting," through gritted teeth. Gonzalez's baton followed, a sharp crack against her knee that buckled her legs, while Jenkins and Patel restrained her arms, their grips bruising her wrists. The crowd's phones captured it all, viral fodder in the making. But in the moment, it was just pain, raw and unrelenting. Dragged into the squad car, her mind foggy with shock, Aaliyah replayed the scene. The false claim about her car, the immediate escalation, the racial slurs muttered under breath. At the precinct, the interrogation room reeked of stale coffee and despair. They questioned her about non-existent crimes, ignoring her requests for a lawyer. When the phone call came, her voice was a whisper of defiance. Marcus's response was swift, a whirlwind of authority mobilizing helicopters and teams. Agents descended like avenging angels, flipping the power dynamic. The officers' smugness evaporated as cuffs clicked on their wrists, their protests falling on deaf ears. Aaliyah's reunion with her father was bittersweet, his embrace warm, but his eyes stormy with guilt. Media frenzy ensued, protests swelling from Atlanta to D.C., chants of no justice, no peace echoing. But the investigation unearthed rot. Reed's ties to extremist groups, documented in encrypted chats plotting disruptions in black neighborhoods. Gonzalez's vendetta stemmed from a case where Aaliyah's internship work had exposed her family's corruption. Jenkins and Patel were on the take, funneling info to the mayor's office. Marcus's audit revealed falsified reports, hidden dash cams, a pattern of abuse spanning years. Aaliyah, recovering in hospital, dove into the files, her legal mind piecing puzzles. The twist hit like a gut punch. Marcus's own skeleton, a 1990s incident where he overlooked a beating to advance his career. Confrontation in the study was electric. "Dad, how could you preach justice while hiding this?" He broke, admitting the system's demands, the fear of being labeled a snitch. Aaliyah's choice to report him shattered their bond but mended her soul. His resignation made headlines, a black icon falling, sparking debates on accountability. Yet, redemption loomed. Marcus aided from the sidelines, providing tips on the mayor's involvement. Evidence mounted, texts ordering the lesson for Aaliyah to deter Marcus's probe. The sting op was masterful. Aaliyah, wired and poised, met the mayor in a dimly lit bar. "You targeted me because of my dad," she accused. He smirked, loosing zip tied. Arrests followed, the mayor's empire crumbling. Deeper, the cartel's shadow emerged. Reed's group funded for protection rackets. Aaliyah's mother, killed in a car accident when she was 10, was collateral in Marcus's bus gone wrong. Fury fueled her. She hacked legally into databases, building dossiers. The trial was a spectacle, Aaliyah's poise contrasting defendants' desperation. Revelations flew. The cartel boss, ex-agent Harlan Voss, Marcus's partner turned traitor after a botched out Voss's testimony, coerced by plea deal, exposed infiltration at all levels. Conviction sealed fates, life for some, decades for others. Aaliyah's ascent to director was historic. Her reforms mandatory training, body cam mandates, diversity hires. But threats persisted. A new supremacist cell targeted her, leading to a sequel of sorts. A midnight raid where she personally led the takedown, proving her mettle. In the end, Aaliyah stood taller, her story a beacon. From victim to victor, twisting fate's knife back on injustice. The humidity hung heavy in the air as Aaliyah parked her car, oblivious of patrol cars lurking nearby. Her day had been long, briefings on pro bono cases for underserved communities. But she craved hydration before heading home. The stop was abrupt, lights blinding, voices demanding. License and registration, Reed growled. Aaliyah complied slowly, but his impatience flared. Too slow. He yanked her door open, pulling her out. The struggle ensued, not hers, but theirs to justify force. Punches to her torso, kicks to her legs, the ground hard against her cheek as cuffs bit in. Blood smeared the asphalt, her cries muffled. In the cell, isolation bred resolve. The call to Marcus was her lifeline. His arrival turned the tide, agents interrogating the interrogators. Exposés followed, but twists abounded. Internal affairs leaks showed the department knew of Reed's biases, ignored complaints. Gonzalez's brother, a felon, blamed Aaliyah's firm. The mayor's emails confirmed orchestration. Marcus's confession added depth. His past compromised a mirror to the present. Aaliyah's forgiveness came slow, but his aid in dismantling the cartel was key. Voss's capture in a border raid. Aaliyah present, closed circles. Her directorship ushered change, but personal costs lingered. Trust fractured, but purpose solidified. The narrative wove through pain to power, a testament to resilience amid systemic flaws.